Hey, welcome to Big Iron. As you know, I'm Joel Heitkamp. It's good to have you coming down the road with us. Big Iron, the biggest farm show I know of, and the biggest farm show a lot of people know of, and some would argue the biggest farm show across the United States, certainly in the upper Midwest. If you haven't been here, you need to make sure you find a way to get here to Big Iron and visit with some of these great vendors. The boss when it comes to all of this is a man named Cody Cashman, is a man that manages the Red River Valley Fairgrounds where Big Iron is held, and we got him. Let's visit with him. Cody, how you been?
I'm great. How are you?
You got to be. What is with you and the luck? The Red River Valley Fair, you had 10 days of great weather.
That's right.
Big Iron, it rains before, which means, and that's luck, because then the farmers can't get out in the field as easy. And you've got great weather going on for the next 3 days. What's going on with that?
You know the expression being, better be lucky than good. I'm lucky.
There's no question you're a church-going man. That's all I can tell you on that. So describe to people, I did a blue-collar way when it comes to Big Iron. You go ahead and tell them what Big Iron is.
Big Iron is amazing because, it's the only place really that I know of where a whole state of pretty much every agricultural person that I can think of is here. Anything that has to do with innovation in agriculture comes in one place, and they pretty much just set up shop and pretty much congregate all in one location. And you saw it this year more than you did last year, but everybody got together and they were happy to see each other they haven't seen for years. And essentially it's one big organization. It's a big family almost where everybody comes back together. And of course there's business, obviously. That's what it's all about for most of these people. But the farmers get to come and see the new equipment, and they get to meet with these folks, and they get to purchase new technology that didn't exist 2 years ago or a year ago.
Well, you look out there. That's a lot of big gear to bring in.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of setup, a lot of tear down. They're not going to do that unless they can talk to farmers and ranchers.
Absolutely.
They're just not going to. So something works after all these years.
When you see the trucks rolling in 2 weeks before Big Iron, you know something big's happening in town. Everybody knows what Big Iron is. Everybody knows to get your reservations in for anything you want to do. If you want to go out to a restaurant, you want to go to a movie, you better get there ahead of time because all the people from out of town come. From all over the world. We've got a lot of people from all over the world here.
Okay, I get to take this. Call it a brag moment. Call it whatever you want, but. Where I work along with Beck News is KFGO. Most people know that on the radio, and when all this was starting, it had a name. I don't even remember the name, but it was like
tons of tractors.
It was like astronomical how long it was. We had a farmer ranch director then named Larry Risfit. Yep. And he knew the name was too long for marketing. He knew the name was too long to express and tell people really what it was. And he named it Big Iron. He said, this is Big Iron. Here's the reason I say that. The iron's gotten bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Every year, I've been doing this for 17 years now, doing media out here. And I have to tell you, the gear just keeps getting bigger.
It's unbelievable. So I'm from Maryland, and we have got, and I come from a farming background a little bit. I've never seen equipment like you guys have here at this show. It's unbelievable. The size and scale of these things are enormous. They bring them in without tires on them because they can't drive them on the road. It's unbelievable.
I want to talk about some of the challenges. We talked about setting up. I'd have to ask you this. Okay, you have to schedule the setup.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because if you don't, you're going to have a big cluster. So
that's right.
What happens when somebody doesn't follow the rules? How much emotion goes out there? Come on.
Well, we've got a wonderful COO, and she is the hammer to the nail. Is what I tell everybody. If you mess up, Emily's gonna come get you and make sure that you understood that you messed up. But for the most part, everybody follows our rules pretty well. Like I said, it's a big family. It's kind of everybody's getting back together. It's a good thing. When you get a new person in here, you go, hey, look, you have to have this, you have to have that. There's a structure. You can't just, believe it or not, there's a waiting list to get a forklift. So we have a ton of we have about 6 or 7 forklifts we have here with big telehandlers that can lift up to 12,000 pounds, all these things. And you have to get on a list in order to get unloaded. And everybody knows this, but if you're new, you go, hey, you see the forklift driving around, hey, come unload me. Well, no, there's an order. You better get on that list, or you're gonna be waiting. You got to get there early, and it's important. These guys, everybody, they're pros at it now. They all know.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Emily scares me.
Yeah, she scares everybody.
And I don't bring any gear here other than a motorhome. When you go about making this happen, you made an investment in it. I know that the Showlander Pavilion looks different. Been in there. Your board has said, hey, we're here long term. we're gonna invest in ourselves.
Oh yeah, it's amazing that the board here is phenomenal. They truly have the right vision, in my opinion, when it comes to, hey Cody, do it, just go do your job, and they have. They've all let me done what they let me do my job, and they say, hey, you know, just keep on going. We'll be right there behind you, and they all have been there. My board, if you come out to Big Iron, you see them. They're all here volunteering. They're driving around with tractors. This fair truly couldn't run without the volunteer board that we have. And you mentioned Showlander, which is now the Butler Arena. And we put about $900,000 in that building, and we're not done. We're going to keep renovating it and improving it. And it's not the only building. We're going to start improving the grounds completely. We had a great fair. We're having a great Big Iron. So hopefully there's funds there to make some improvements. Everything we do and make, we put right back into the facility because we're a nonprofit.
I'm going to go backwards, though, to the fair.
All right.
I mean, who decided that the fair is going to be 10 days with all, I mean, to bring all those artists in, to bring those concerts in, to bring, it was 10 days, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
I mean, normally fairs don't go for 10 days.
So only the big ones go for 10 days. And when I was hired, I remember specifically, it was on the Zoom call talking to our now president, Bob Rasmussen, and a few other board members of, hey, why are we a 6-day fair? Why do we start on Tuesday? It's odd to me. And I remember them kind of not knowing quite why. It just, that's how it's been. And that wasn't when I decided I wanted to do it. I know I want to go to a 10-day fair because they work. You get 2 weekends. You know, you take a gamble with one weekend. If you have a bad weathered weekend, you're going to take a bath.
Well, your family's involved in this.
Heavily.
I mean, you were raised on it. Let people know that.
Yeah, so my dad he's the general manager, CEO of the Maryland State Fair, and my mother's a life member of the Great Frederick Fair in Maryland, and I was on the board at the Carroll County Fair in Maryland, where I grew up, showed 4-H FFA, and then I did a lot of different internships with a lot of different fairs. Wisconsin State Fair was one of them, Arkansas State Fair, Virginia State Fair. I've been to over 58 fairs now. And it's just what my family does. We're a bunch of professional carnies.
So how do you keep your weight down growing up on mini donuts?
You don't. I mean, I'm a big guy. And my dad's even bigger than I am, for sure. He's a big guy.
Okay. And I want to talk about the food vendors, too, because that's part of all this. From the fair to Big Iron, I talked to some farmers last night. Okay, so that made some horseradish. Yeah. One of them brews his own beer, so you know why I stopped.
Yeah, of course.
Got a little present from him. But he was coming up to Big Iron today, and I said, what are you looking for? I said, you're retired. He goes, oh, come on, Joel. You know, fair food.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's a big part of the draw.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, we've made a lot of changes. Like, we've been talking about this. And, in fact, I just got done talking to one of our other board members about, you know, you've changed a lot of things here. And, you know, some things we weren't sure about. But it seems to be working out. It's like, yeah, we've got to keep changing. The food is one of them. We moved a food court this year. And, if you come out and see, you're going to see it's going to be packed with people. And that's why we moved it, to move people through the show. And the food vendors that are here are mostly and predominantly the ones that are at the fair. So nothing says you have to have a certain type of food. Every year we're trying to mix it up, and every year we're going to try to grow and get more food vendors and different types of food vendors.
Well, it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does, because when I left our booth, I only had about 10 orders. It was like, oh, hey, Joel, get me this and get me that. Do you think they're going to pay me back?
No.
Yeah, no is the big answer.
Well, you're on TV.
Yeah, right. So I'll find a way.
Yeah.
How's that? When it comes to COVID, okay, that couldn't have been easy, because last year you decided to still go with the show.
Yeah.
And that had to be a tough decision.
It was. It was a very weird time. Of course, when I started May 1st technically, and I think May 2nd we canceled the fair. And that was weird, because I was in the state of Maryland. I just met all these folks. They're probably thinking, this kid, he wants to cancel the fair. What do we do? And it was a very weird time. But the writing was on the wall that, we kind of had to do this. This is the way to do it. We talked to a lot of, state officials and whatnot. Big Iron was different. Big Iron was different for a lot of reasons. If you come to Big Iron, it's very spaced out, even with a huge crowd. Yesterday was packed. And it really shows that there's still a ton of room out here. We got 400 acres that we're sitting on here at this fairgrounds, and it really shows that you can still space out here. So when we did Big Iron, we opened all the doors last year, and we had hand sanitizer everywhere. We had signs everywhere. We asked people to wear a mask. We didn't, require anything like that, but it worked. In fact, there wasn't any spikes in North Dakota 2 weeks after, which is kind of what everybody's been going off of. And we hope that continues with this year. But for the most part, it wasn't an easy decision, but we knew for a lot of reasons, I mean, Doug O'Hagan, the ag commissioner, really pushed us, and I'm glad he did. It was the right decision. I know we made the right decision, but it wasn't an easy one, and we decided we were going to continue and have Big Iron.
Well, okay, so kids are part of your life. They come to the fair.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're entertaining them. People of all different brands when it comes to your concerts, everything when it goes to it. But Big Iron is somewhat of a specific clientele, and to make sure during harvest season that you can get them here. Yeah. That can't be easy because there's a lot of combines going on the soybeans this time of year.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a little scary actually having this kind of show during harvest. I questioned it, I don't understand it, but it works. And having rain on Monday, didn't hurt.
Yeah,
so.
but you've got displays going on. You've got demos going on.
Oh yeah. Right
now, there's guys running a combine without a man
it's
or woman in
unbelievable.
it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Would you stand in front of that?
No.
I mean, but people are. They do it. It's that automated.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have thought that we were going to get to there? Yeah. It's happening right now.
And that's what makes Big Iron so special. I mean, think about it. Where else right now in the world are you going to come and see all this technology? People don't realize how much technology is involved in farming. It's the biggest industry in the world, agriculture.
Yeah.
Second to none.
Well, and look at how well we do it here.
That's right.
In the
We're
upper
the best.
Midwest, and how big of an investment they are if they make these. I always say that Tuesday is come around, have some fun day, Wednesday is kick tires day, and Thursday is buying day.
Oh yeah.
There's
I was told the
something that
farmers
goes
go back home to their wives and say, I want this, and then they bring the wife out on Thursday to make sure that they're buying the right thing.
Well, to me, that wouldn't work no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm not lying, Cody. So thank you. Thanks for joining us.
You.
I appreciate it. You're putting on a great show. And, I'm glad you're staying in North Dakota. You going to commit to being here for a long time?
I bought a house for 30 years.
Yeah.
30-year commitment.
Well, good.
As long as they'll have me.
Because we're not going to let you go. Cody Cashman. When we come back, we're going to get a chance to visit with Sarah Heinrich. We're going to talk to Sarah about what's going on in the farm news. She reports every day, so she gets it. We'll visit with Sarah Heinrich, Farm and Ranch Director, right after this.
Howdy, folks. It's a Canline Cafe. I reckon it's time you'll do for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bossing breakfast and homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Canline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness.
During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark.
Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close.
Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Elmiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Elmiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Elmiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680. Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Thanks for coming back to Down the Road with me, Joel Heitkamp, here on the Beck News Network. We're joined now by somebody I've known for quite a while. David Crothers has been around the North Dakota legislature the whole time I was there, and I could always count on him for information on making sure people are connected in the rural areas, which if you look at where North Dakota is at, he's got a great story. David he's the boss when it comes to Broadband Association of North Dakota. David, thanks for joining us down the road.
Well, it's so much fun to be with you, Joel. I've been a long-time listener and now viewer of yours, and you're doing a great job, and the show's really found a niche.
I want to talk to you a little bit about what farmers, ranchers, how they count on you, and what they need to do in areas where they can't count on you because you're not. If you would, explain the service area in the state of North Dakota.
Well, North Dakota is really unlike any other state in the nation. The members of the Broadband Association of North Dakota, they're really the old telephone cooperatives, plus a couple of small family-owned companies, today have grown to the point they serve 97% of the state of North Dakota. Where they don't serve is down the Minnesota border, about 30 miles in from the Red River, and along Interstate 94, and then a few odd spots here and there. So overwhelmingly rural. What they've done throughout the years is they've been among the most progressive in the entire United States. We offer gig service to over 300 communities right now. So it doesn't matter where you live. If you live in Carrington, if you live in Bowman, if you live in Ray, you don't just get the FCC definition of 25 meg down and 3 up. You get 1,000 down and any number up. We can do symmetrical. So North Dakota, rural North Dakota, is way more advanced than any other state.
There was a change happening in my time in the legislature, and it's not all hugs and kisses. I mean, I challenged you on whether or not your group could provide the service. It was my job to make sure that the rural area had it. I put a big question mark on it. You came, you talked to me, said, look, this is where we're going to go. You did. You did exactly what you said you were going to do. Your group of co-ops went out there and got something that other states really wish they had. And I mean that as a compliment.
Sure.
Being around the region as much as I am, and knowing a lot of people from different states, they wish they had what North Dakota has. And so explain that to people why we're ahead.
What I attribute to is a couple different things. Number one, these companies were built in the early 1950s with the creation of the USDA's Rural Telephone Loan Program. So when we got to the late 90s, to the turn of the century, that copper line, that wire, it was time to upgrade. At about the same point, the cost of fiber and copper were equal. And so it was almost a no-brainer. But there's something even more important, and that is the local ownership. So you had the telephone cooperative boards of directors, and you had those locally owned companies that I talk about, the Brown family, MLGC, the Wilhelmies up in northwestern North Dakota. They all invested in fiber, and that's why we have what we have today. Where out-of-state investors, investor-owned companies are so tempted to milk every dime they can, especially in the rural areas that require high investment and a low rate of return. The locally owned companies in North Dakota went all in on investing in fiber. The explosion in technology, the need for more speed, we saw it during the pandemic when people were sent home, whether it was education, telework, telemedicine, just our lives and how we depend on broadband today. North Dakota, rural North Dakota, was uniquely well suited for that. And here we sit at Big Iron, and there can't be a more relevant topic to talk about than the broadband and how they rely on that with precision agriculture in their day-to-day lives.
I remember back when we were afraid that rural America was going to get left behind when it came to high speed, when it came to a lot of what we needed from a business standpoint to succeed. And the congressional delegation we had, Byron Dorgan was all in on this. He talked to me. You look at the congressional delegation we have now, they're all in on this. This is a bipartisan issue, but there's money out there that could be used for a further investment in this. This isn't infrastructure that's all done and service area that's all completed. And I think it's important because there's a lot of people watching this show right now that are saying, I don't have what he's describing, and I want what he's describing. Talk to people about that.
Well, you're exactly right. There are thousands of locations that don't have broadband in North Dakota, and those are areas that we don't serve. Now, the opportunity exists. You mentioned the congressional delegation. Senator Dorgan was a member of the Senate Energy and Commerce Committee, had telecom jurisdiction, worked endlessly. Senator Hoeven is doing much the same as the ranking member on USDA's Appropriations Subcommittee for Rural Development. And that is a specific program that Mr. Hoeven has worked very hard to fund through the USDA Reconnect program. But there is a new evolution of a new tranche of money coming to these states. It was in the CARES Act in response to the pandemic. Then it's in the American Rescue Plan, and if infrastructure bill gets passed, it will be in that also. So American Rescue Plan and Infrastructure Act have money specifically devoted to each state. Each state is guaranteed $100 million in each of those programs, and that will be available, and it'll be Governor Burgum and in the North Dakota legislature that determines how that's spent.
Okay, but let's talk about that because North Dakota only meets every 2 years.
Yes.
And you're very familiar with the process. But they're going to meet on redistricting. They're going to get together. They're going to talk. There's going to be a special session. Are we able and can we take advantage of that time to legislate, to get out there and say, look, this pot of money is there. It needs to get out. This is infrastructure. These are areas that we need to have people connect with. And so let's get this money moving. Because here's the thing. I used to call it the factor of 5 back when I was running a utility. Go ahead and not do it this year. You're just going to pay 5% more the next. And so is there an opportunity here for the people that are viewing this to call, get the help we need to get this job done legislatively?
There's not only the opportunity, because of course you're right that the legislature will meet in November to redistrict, but they'll also be considering a number of proposals to fund. One of the things about these pandemic bills, regardless of what they are, is within that language, there are deadlines on what that money has to be used for, because Congress's intent is get the money out there, get it spent, keep the economy moving. And so there are literal deadlines to get it done. And it isn't just with burying fiber and building infrastructure. It isn't a turnkey operation. It requires planning, engineering, ordering material, getting it out. So yes, that opportunity exists in November, and it's critically important that policymakers grab that opportunity and run with it.
In the little bit of time we have left, describe the physical structure. Because a lot of people, when they grab that cell phone, they think it just goes through the airways to a satellite and it's done. Make sure people understand.
Well, that's one of the big issues is making people understand. You're right, it's a common misconception, but there's no reason they would think otherwise. So when you grab that phone, that signal goes to the tower or the call, the signal goes straight down that tower into the ground and gets on a fiber line. It's the same with agriculture and the precision agriculture. There'll be some kind of wireless deployment, but it has to have a fiber going into that home. That's why rural North Dakota's agriculture has been able to do so well. Precision ag in particular, but all of it requires a tremendous amount of capacity. Wireless can't handle that. There will never be 5G in North Dakota without a fiber at every single location.
Which means we fall behind.
We will if we don't invest.
And right now we're ahead.
Separate from that is we still have these unserved locations in North Dakota outside our traditional service areas. They have nothing. They're back where they were in 1988, hoping to have a DSL connection.
And that means we got to get the money moving. That's what it means.
Well, that money was specifically intended for this purpose. Broadband's written into it, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for, we'll call it free money. North Dakota incurs no obligation because of it.
But if you want to crawl underneath your combine and use your iPad to get it done, you can if we get them broadband. That's what you're saying.
Oh, everything. If you want to go to school, education's online now. Opportunities online.
David, thanks. Thanks
you,
for joining
sir.
us. Appreciate it. When we come back, we're going to get a chance to visit with Sarah Heinrich. She's the Farm and Ranch Director where else I work, the Mighty 790 KFGO. So stick around.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to you with one of the most important commercials that I've ever done. All of you know what my pillow and myself have gone through in the last 8 months in my efforts to bring the truth forward. Well, now you can help in a couple ways. First, get everyone you know to go to my new media platform, frankspeech.com. There you'll find all the footage from my cyber symposium and many other important broadcasts. Also, I am personally doing a new daily live show to get the truth out. It's at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Secondly, I'm offering some of the best prices ever on my pillow products, but they're only available on frankspeech.com. Go to frankspeech.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive these exclusive My Pillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Welcome to No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. God, your ego is so tiny and fragile. I'm Rick Becker.
And I'm Lori Hins.
Make no mistake, folks, we lost. Again, we lost the war in Afghanistan. Dynamic. There's nothing wrong with rattling the cages of the old guard.
Your retreat begins at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Welcome back to Down the Road. We are coming to you from Big Iron, which, you know, it's best described by my next guest, which is the Farm and Ranch Director of where my day job is at KFGO. And that Farm and Ranch Director, Sarah Heinrich, is on a whole lot of radio stations out there. Sarah, good to have you coming down the road with us.
It's great to be here. This is one of my favorite events of the year, as you're well aware. Something where we just book off 3 days for, and we're going to be in Fargo, and we're going to be at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds.
Don't get too comfortable. You know, you were doing TV when I came and stole you for the radio, you know, and you were so doggone good at it, which is one of the reasons I came and stole you. And so just don't get too comfortable here.
I do like TV. It's
Okay.
fun.
Yeah, well, you're good at it. Being farmer and ranch director of the biggest radio station and the biggest radio network, and I think we need to stress network around the upper Midwest, it's not easy when you're raising 3 boys and farming and ranching at the same time.
You know, and agriculture is so diverse in North Dakota and really across the tri-state area. When you think about the stories that we cover and how they really are diverse from the Red River Valley into northwestern North Dakota, you know, and we're talking about sugar beets here, but we're also talking about sugar beets up in Williston as well, but there's no sugar beets in between. And so when you talk about small grains and row crops and how things have really just gotten diverse over the years, I mean, we've become more of a corn and soybean hub in the last 5 years than I will ever remember in my childhood. Those are 2 crops that have really come in and taken a presence.
I thought that would change some this year. You know, grain prices went up in terms of wheat and barley, and so, you know, I don't know if it's equipment, if it's, you know, the fact that they're in such routines, but I didn't see any more wheat out there.
No, and that's very true. And we have seen an increase in that wheat market. So will there be more wheat acres now maybe going into the 22 growing season? I would not be surprised if we saw more wheat acres. But, you know, guys find a rotation and then they just really stick with it. And that corn and soybean rotation was working really well for the past 5 years. This year with drought conditions, it maybe wasn't working quite as well in some areas. I don't expect producers, though, to really go away from that wheat, corn, and soybean rotation. I mean, you see sunflowers come into the mix. You see canola come into the mix. I mean, I think North Dakota is #1 in 13 different commodities, I believe is the number. And so it's not like we aren't going to see a lot of these other niche crops come into the market. They certainly will. But I think that your big 3 are still going to be your dominating factors.
So when you talked about how diverse it is from one corner to the other of North Dakota, and how most people, I think a lot of people in the Red River Valley don't realize how many sugar beets acres there are when it comes to the northwest corner, up in that Sydney, Williston type area. But in between is exactly what you described. That same diversity that you were just talking about really was very diverse when it came to moisture this year.
Isn't that the truth?
When you came down to the southeast corner, could you believe how the crops look versus Medina where you live?
It's not even a comparison. You know, when you look into southeastern North Dakota, things look semi-normal, you could say. Visiting with producers from Rugby here this week, you know, I mean, their corn got 2 to 3 feet tall. They were getting fields, you know, that were adjusting out at 2 bushels an acre. And that was really common, really, from Rugby, Minot, down into Bismarck, you know, where you just saw just the heart of the drought. And, you know, if you go into the Bowman country, they were super dry as well. And that was another really dry area. And so, I mean, when you look at what, I guess, the state experienced, the rain has been so diverse. And I've even talked to producers who have said that they would go into one side of the field and they would see 50 bushel wheat. And if they went into the other side of the field, it might be closer to 35. I mean, I think that goes to show you just how spotty that rain shower was. And it's really true when they say, I thought my dad said it best, you know not everyone's going to get hit, and that's what you hope for. Everyone's going to get some rain in a drought. But at this point, you just have to hope that you're one of the lucky ones under the rain cloud.
Well, and that's the way it's worked this year. You and I go on the road, and we do a lot of radio in remote locations. We were up in Tulna this year, and when we were up in Tulna, it rained.
Right.
And they were desperate for rain.
They were desperate.
But you know, it seemed unfair to me, but you can't control the rain, was that you'd have a section that got, you know, a little over an inch of rain. The one right next to it didn't get anything. You go a little further south, and they got 1.5 inches of rain. And we're talking about an area less than 10 miles wide. And that's a hair ripper-outer.
Absolutely. And that's why I think it's been so stressful for producers, because the areas that have gotten hit, you're very happy for them, but I mean, you certainly wish that you were one of them as well. And that just wasn't the case this year. Now, we have seen some great moisture here recently and lately, and I think we're all very grateful for that. I've had a ton of questions asking, is it a little too late? Is it a little too late? You know, I think that we were able to maybe add a little bit of yield onto those soybeans. It certainly helped the corn out a little bit, but more than anything, it got those pastures greened up, and it really extended that grazing. You know, even on our own operation, we were looking at pulling off calves and weaning 2 weeks ago, and this probably bought us another 2 to 3 weeks worth of time in leaving cattle out on pasture that we weren't expecting. And so we were very grateful for that.
Well, another example I would give you is I never thought I'd see a good third cutting And in some of the places I'm going, some of the hay that's being put up is, it made a difference with that.
Absolutely. It made a difference. And it made a difference with some of those cover crop acres as well. If you're out there grazing and you were thinking there's no chance, or if you had sorghum put in and you were hoping to make hay out of it, this gave it a chance.
You were talking about selling off some calves or what needs to happen as ranchers. Part of the conversation we've been having this year is how some pairs had to be sold off. There was nothing to feed them. And what they could have fed them had to come from somewhere else, and it would cost too much to make it work. Here's, as a rancher yourself, how does that work in terms of the herd that you built up? And, everybody seems to think they're like, cattle are like pickups. Okay, I had to sell a pickup, but I'll go buy a pickup. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. When we talk about the cattle and the herd, we've worked for 40 years to build our cattle herd. And so when you're selling anything off, it hurts. And you want to be able to make those decisions, and you don't want Mother Nature making those decisions for you. And so when you have decades of experience in genetics, and we've gone out and bought herd bulls from across the nation, and I know we're not the only producers who have done this, and you're really trying to build up the best genetic lineup that you possibly can, it's really painful when you have to go out and sell, because that isn't just rebuilt in a day. That isn't rebuilt in a year. And not even to mention that, but some producers have taken such a financial hit off of this drought that you really have to wonder if they're going to be back in it. If you're near retirement age, you probably aren't coming back in it. Let's just call a spade and be honest with it. And if you're a really young producer and you've taken a financial hit on this, it's going to be really hard to recover from this.
Yeah, there's some protections that the federal government's put in place, but one of the things that protection is based upon is yield.
Right.
And when yield goes down, and you can average it all you want, but when you have a really bad year, if you have another one, right. You can have that protection, but it isn't going to help as much with bad yields.
Absolutely. It's not going to help as much with bad yields. You can have the protection, but you still need to be bringing home the crop. You still need to be bringing home the pounds to get the bills paid. We are all very aware that our expenses have skyrocketed. Fertilizer is extremely expensive right now. Seed is very expensive right now. This is not a cheap business to be in. And so to have down years that really set you back and pull you back, how many people are going to actually be able to afford some of this hay and where it's coming from and the transportation costs and what they want and a price tag? And so it's really hard right now.
So for the last days, you've been walking around Big Iron, visiting with people that offer the product, visiting with people that buy the product. What are you hearing? What's the attitude?
I think it's an internal optimist, right? That's just the way that the farming world community is. And I think that the people that are out here are really serious about being here. I guess that's probably what I've heard more than anything. They either want to learn about the new seed, they want to purchase the new seed variety, and it's just a lot of seriousness, maybe not as much spectator. We're here to buy, we're here to, I guess, make a decision.
Okay. Well, that's good to hear. And the fact that they're here, they're displaying, and quite frankly, it is Big Iron.
It is Big Iron.
There's a lot of big equipment out there.
Huge equipment, and I can't believe how much this equipment has grown over the years. The automated equipment that's now here and being showcased. Who would have thought that in 5 years ago that we would be at the place that we are today?
Sarah, thanks. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely, it's always fun.
When we come back, we're going to talk to the folks from OK Tire. You know what? They've got a product line that everybody needs, plus they have the service that comes along with it. I have a pickup that heading into the winter might need their attention. Last time I looked, and I haven't checked Mrs. Heitkamp's tires. So stick around. We're going to talk to OK Tire right after this.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210. Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
At Beck Communications, we've been planning for your future. Over the past decade, we've placed nearly 200,000 miles of dedicated fiber optics in the ground, enough fiber optic strands to circle the world 8 times. Taking no shortcuts, we connected every home and business in our service area with dedicated fiber optics. It's your personal, unrestricted, unthrottled connection to the world. Best of all, this dedicated fiber means you do not share your connection. We call this intimate dedicated connection Beck Fiber.
I get a chance now to visit with Mark Unruh, a longtime family name, people that I love the whole, well, I've got some experience with the Unruh family, hardworking. Mark works with OK Tires, the tire store, and OK is the tire store that I know a lot of people use. Mark, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you for having me.
You bet. I mean, you're at Big Iron here, and that means just exactly that. What people want from OK Tire is big.
That's right.
Is really big. Explain to people when it comes to it your Firestone line and what you're available to show them here.
Okay, what we have featured in the booth this year, Joel, is the Firestone, the new 32-inch Maxi Triax Quad Track. It's a one-piece molded belt. The track has multi-angle bars. It is it's the smoothest riding track in the industry, but more so than anything is that one-piece belt. That is a huge deal to somebody that has a quad track because of the amount of pressure that can be put on that drive lug, and it's very easy to pop the guide blocks out of that tread. And so we found this one-piece belt to be the most successful quad track out there. It also has a unique feature called a Pro Edge, which gives us a little extra rigidity on the edge of the track. So when you get that extra 2 inches out there, it's not like it's hanging out there and flopping around the mid rollers and the bogey wheels. Very attractive looking track, high quality track. We have them in stock. We've asked that question, has been asked a lot of me in the last day is, do you even have them? We do now. We don't have a lot, but we do have tracks on hand. That's been a challenge, of course, for the last 9 months, is just keeping that pipeline full.
Well, you took away the next question, which is, can you find them? That's a real problem.
Yeah.
And so that means OK was ahead of the curve when it came to all of this. For those people who maybe don't understand, the track, the quad track, explain to them physically what it looks like.
Well, the track, it's a quad, obviously has 4 tracks on it. And, it's an articulated unit, which anytime you can get out there a little earlier in the spring with a machine over the tires, there's less slip, there's far less compaction over a tire. You can get the job done probably a little bit quicker and a little sooner. That's what attracted me to getting into the track side of this. I've been in tires since 1979, and it was the compaction side. And you know, tracks typically have a slip rate of anywhere from 1 to 4%, and tires slip anywhere from 4 or 5% all the way up to 8 or 9%, or if they're worn quite badly, maybe even more. Well, anytime you have slip, you have compaction, and that's a big deal to the producers as far as the yields are concerned. Covering that first 8 inches of soil. The tracks really do a nice job out there. There's getting to be more and more of them as we go.
Well, you know, you and I both know, working with farmers and traveling as much as we do, nothing drives a farmer more nuts than when his field doesn't look as good as the neighbor's.
Yeah, that's right.
And so this
Yeah.
takes care of some of that.
Yeah.
In terms of fitting into, you know, what they're talking about with what's being seeded, with everything else, you know, the sheer mechanics, and of course they're going to automation now, to where many times they're not even going to be in the rig, and that's where it's headed. How does that quad track stack up against that?
Well, maybe I should have you restate that question one more time exactly.
Well, I
apologize.
guess what I'm getting at is the width, the automation, the ability to turn. You know, the future is going to hold for many of these ag producers, nobody being in it.
Yep. I think that you're seeing the positive drive, which is a 4-track unit, typically. That's considered a positive drive. They are the track, I think, the track machine of the future. You still see a lot of row crop tractors out there, the 2-track type tractors, but I think it's really going all to positive drive, or, you know, the quads.
Did you see that happening? I mean, when I drive by now, you're right. I mean, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And the first couple times I saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know, and now you drive by and it's becoming the norm.
Yeah. The Case has been probably the first ones. The leaders, Versatile is out there. John Deere is out there now, and I believe our friends at Caterpillar are right behind that. So,
yeah,
with a quad.
When you take a look at your line, we've been talking Firestone here, but OK Tire is a place that many people go for a lot of different things. You know, you're here at Big Iron, you're talking with farmers, and you're talking about the need of farmers. I get that, but that isn't the only line that you carry.
That's correct. We're into agricultural tires, of course, with Michelin and Firestone and a few other brands, but we do truck tires. We have a fantastic facility on the north side of Fargo for drive-through semis. A lot of farmers have semis. They just find it most convenient just to run through and have the tires changed there. It's a lot faster. And we are located in a lot of different locations, obviously, up and down the valley, Wapaton, Carrington, Bismarck, and Fargo.
Well, speaking as somebody who lives down by Wapaton, I know you're there.
Yeah.
And I know the service is fast and it's good. All you got to do is call a little bit ahead of time, and it's not going to be a problem at all. When did tires become so reliable? It seemed to me that in my youth and in the early days of my adulthood, I was fixing tires a lot, and that isn't a problem now.
Well, that's interesting. It make me feel a little older, but when I started, they were just going from bias ply tires to radial on passenger. They were just going from bias to radial on truck tires. So I've seen that radialization change. And I would say the first 6 to 7 years of radials were challenged also. The different belt issues, but they've really changed the way they've made radial tires compared to how it started. A lot cooler, a lot better belts. I think that radial tires it's amazing what they've done, and to be able to keep the costs down in comparison to what they were when they first came out. So when you really look at it, for the most part, the normal tire size is not too far off of what it was when it started.
It's really
40,
not.
Yeah.
And you know, if somebody would have told me I wasn't going to have to worry about tires for as long as 60,000 miles, you know, I drive, and granted some of those or most of those are highway miles, but you know, that's a pretty good buy. You know, when I'm sitting there, I mean, I looked at mine going into winter, and you know, I would guess you're going to tell me, Mark, that going into winter is a good time to look at changing out.
Oh, absolutely. Get in there at least a little bit ahead of time. So sometimes it gets a little bit hectic when the snow is falling. That's when everybody usually thinks about it. So yeah, we do all of that. We have a location in South Fargo now, a new one. We have our location in Main Avenue, which has been there for years, and of course our one at the Fargo Commercial Center.
So I want to go back to farming just a little bit, Mark,
Okay.
because ag producers, they invest in themselves whether or not they had a good crop or bad crop. They have to. They know what it's like to do just that. What's the attitude you're hearing out there at Big Iron? What is it? Is it positive? What are you hearing from the farmers?
It seems to be, there's a little more money to spend on the farm. The commodity prices have been holding on. I've been through this back in 2011, 12, 13. It was kind of the same thing where things shot up and prices have come up a little bit, but it's pretty steady right now. But back in 2011 and 12, we saw everything rise, with seed, fertilizer, chemical. And of course, shortly after that, it took a dive, and you have to really watch your inventory. You have to really, it's one of those things that captured all of that as the prices were high. It's hard to control.
Yeah, but you talked about the fact that you have inventory. And the fact that you do have inventory tells me that the need's going to be out there.
Yeah.
That people are going to need this and farm producers want it.
Right now, the inventory, I'm talking from the track side of it, is if we're keeping the pipeline full, we have tracks out there that we're probably not going to see for 7 to 8, maybe even up to 9 months. But if we've got a lot of orders in, and they're never going to see them all at one time, thankfully. But that's what we have to do at this point is keep that pipeline full, and so we can keep those customers satisfied as they're waiting for product.
Well, OK Tire stores have been coming through for a lot of people for a long time. Yeah. And you got to be proud of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been a good fun.
So tell people where to go, where they can find you online, because I know you got a lot of stores out there.
Okay. You can go to www.oktireinc.com. or you can call us at 701-237-6525.
All right. Thanks for doing a great job, and my Harley trailer is going to be knocking on the door pretty soon. I don't need the quad track. But Mark, thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, thank you, Joel.
You bet.
Yep.
When we come back, some closing comments for you here as we end our trip down the road.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until Nano. Call now and you'll get your Nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you could pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow,
I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented My Pillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled My Pillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or My Pillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
You know, it's been a tough year for ag producers. It has. I mean, you can't predict the weather. You know, and you can ask for rain all you want, but it doesn't promise it's going to give you rain. It's just the way it is. So when your yields are down, do you still invest in yourself? If you set together a plan so that, hey, I buy every third year, I buy every fourth year, I buy in relation to how I depreciate out in the business model that I have. I think some of that's still going on. I do. And I know there's a huge market in the used market when it comes to farm machinery. Big Iron, where I'm broadcasting from right now, is a big part of making that connection. It is. And what I'm seeing out there in Big Iron is optimism. What I'm seeing out there is, and this has been really kind of cool because the average age of farmers is now around 58, or at least that's what I'm being told. I saw a lot of young people out there. I did. I saw a lot of young people with bright futures in ag. Their world is different than Dad's was, and certainly a lot different than what Grandpa's was. But it doesn't change the fact that they have that same attitude. It's about producing this nation's food. We do that as well as anyone here in the upper Midwest. We do that as well as anyone here that's watching Beck News. And that's the beauty of it, right? If you're doing what you love and every day you get a chance to get up and do that, you know what? It's not a bad life to live. And so commodity prices are nowhere near as bad as what they were in the past. They're not. I'm a personal believer that getting rid of sanctions has helped, and knowing that we're going to get rid of sanctions has helped. But hey, that's my one little shot in there, quite frankly, because I know I'm right. But the fact that commodity prices are where they can make a buck or two is a good thing. It broke my heart to see people selling off pears this year, to see them have to diminish and sell off part of the herd that they had built up. And I think that what we don't do enough is think about ranchers. We don't. It's kind of as though, you know, the corn, the soybean, the sugar beet, the wheat, the barley, you know, that's pretty easy to think of because you're driving down the road and you see it. But for those ranchers out there, those cattle producers, those hog producers, and some of the other industries that have taken off, you know, when you look at lambs and you look at goats, and, you know, there's a lot of stories to tell there. There is. We're going to keep doing that as we go down the road. We're going to keep making sure that those stories get to you, because the optimism that is out there on the grounds at Big Iron cannot be ignored. And making sure we tell those stories is part of what we do. Good riding with you, folks.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.